Who read the title of the video? No, I'm not doing any of the expanded maps that Xbox Live got. No, this is just base game Battlefront 2. I played each map at least twice. I played any hunt modes or any other special modes they might have. No space Megiddo, no space Kashyyyk, no space specific battles. They all kind of play the same, so I didn't count them here. I also subbed out Conquest for XL whenever that was an option, though in hindsight that might have been a bad idea, because in order to get the AI count as high as they did, they had to sacrifice AI intelligence, and it's frankly just a less fun mode. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into it. Number 18.
It's stylistically designed to be that way, and you can't undo that, but we can diminish the effects of it.
This map blows. It's just an open field, and it's way too easy to gain momentum as one side or the other. It's just kind of a straight line map. You just kind of go from objective to objective to objective, which I guess is a neat idea. Some areas have high ground, but you never use it. There's weird slopes and stuff, again, I guess to give you high ground on a more varied terrain, but again, you never use it. The vehicles feel pointless. You can always just sort of navigate around them, so there's no threat to them. The heroes are just kind of okay. For the Rebellion, you have Han, and for the Empire, you have Darth Vader. I like Han, don't care for Darth Vader. It's just not that great of a map. You don't see much of the action at all. You don't see much of the map at all. It's just not very good. And also the hunt mode in this one is Ewoks and Scout Troopers. It's horrifically one-sided. The Ewoks simply don't fight back. I think I finished my game with a score of 50-2. So
That was just a detour. A shortcut. A shortcut to what? Mushrooms!
So when ranking these maps, I used a complicated scientific technique that hasn't been used since the Bronze Age. The technique in question is known as how much fun I had while I was playing. On this map, I didn't have any fun at all. The problem here is a lot of the fighting gets centralized to this one lake area, which is totally fine, I guess, but the problem is it just makes the rest of the map completely useless, and you never actually see any of it. For example, there's this giant tree towards the back of the map that I never engaged with in any of my 2 play sessions for this map, or the Galactic Conquest play session either. For heroes, you have an interesting selection, I suppose. In the CIS, you have Jango Fett, clones get Aayla Secura, Rebellion gets Chewbacca, and the Empire gets Boba Fett. That's fine, I guess. I like Boba and Jango just fine, but Aayla Secura and Chewbacca are not my favorite heroes. The other problem with this map is the draw distance. I understand the intention of trying to create a hazy, hard, difficult to see atmosphere, but the problem is it just kind of makes the map look ugly. There's no hunt mode to speak of, and no third-party alien monster enemies like Jabba's Palace has, which would have done a lot to make this map more interesting to engage with. There's vehicles, but again, much like Endor, you can just kind of avoid them and they feel like a non-issue.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
So number 16, we have Geonosis, which it has a couple things that aren't really helping its case at all. There's a hunt mode here, which is kind of neat. It's clone sharpshooters versus the Geonosians, and that's kind of an interesting idea. But again, the problem is here that the Geonosians just aren't that fun. They're certainly more effective than the Ewoks are in the Endor hunt, and they actually managed to get a few kills in, almost winning the game. But they're just not that fun to play. Even with the flight, their guns are just kind of lame. The Attack of the Clones there, armor for the XL versions in Conquest and Capture the Flag, are actually kind of neat and interesting, but it kind of loses the novelty after the first play session. There's a couple neat interiors. The command posts are kind of interesting. There's a high ground command post that I guess is nice, but I never really felt the need to engage with it. The problem with this one and a lot of the XL maps is that it's just kind of a giant open field, which I know is the intention, and the goal is to make it a giant space battle, or feel like one at least. But the problem with this is it just kind of feels like a shooting gallery for sharpshooter classes, and all the other classes, engineer especially, just kind of feels useless. The assault classes, I suppose, work fine as well for vehicles and what have you, but the trooper and engineer classes, and even the 2 special classes, it just feels mostly useless. For the heroes here, you only have 2 options. You do have a map specific hero, which does give Geonosis some points, but not that many. For the CIS, you have Count Dooku, who is our map specific hero here, and for the clone side, you have Mace Windu, who you see a number of times throughout the map anyways. They're both okay heroes. Neither are my favorite, but they're fine to use. Plenty of vehicles on this map, which does help the case a lot. Some of the XL maps don't have a lot of vehicle presence, which is a point I can give to Geonosis. This one does actually feel like kind of an important vehicle present mission. But the problem is the mobile command center and the clone ATTE isn't that interesting of an opponent to fight, and it's not that helpful of an ally to have either, so long as the AI is controlling it. Again, same problem as a lot of the XL maps where it's just an open field, and that's fine, I get the intention, but it doesn't make it a particularly engaging map to play on.
I'm taking an awful risk, Vader. This had better work.
At 15 we have Yavin 4. It's visually distinct and sort of interesting, but again, it's kind of have the same problem that Felucia has, in that the fighting all gets concentrated in one area in the center of the map, which is fine. Those are thrilling and engaging fights to have, but it just means the rest of this pretty large map is just completely unused. The Rebel base and whatever this landing area is, you never see any combat there at all. This map also features a ton of tower turrets that are way too high up for you to really deal with, so you just kind of mostly ignore them most of the time, and you don't use them either because the positions that they're placed in aren't actually that advantageous. Again, the same problem as Felucia and Endor, and to a lesser extent Geonosis, in that the vehicles you just kind of, again, ignore or can otherwise avoid. It's a little too cramped for most of the map to really effectively use some of these bigger tanks and stuff. The speeder bikes are okay vehicles to use to get from point to point quickly, but again, since most of the fighting is centralized anyways, there's really no reason to use those. For the heroes, you have an interesting selection here. The clones get Mace Windu, CIS gets Darth Maul, Rebellion gets Chewbacca for some reason, and the Empire gets Boba Fett, again for some reason. These are fine selections, none of them are really tremendous ones. My favorite among them is Darth Maul, as we'll see going forward, and Boba Fett's okay too. Mace Windu and Chewbacca are now favorites.
Yes, the rain. I mean, each one of these drops is unique.
That's snowflakes dancing.
So the problem with Camino is just that visually it's just a little too repetitive. There is a concerted effort to diversify the platforms a little bit, like this big mound thing on this platform and these pillars which offer a little bit of cover on this other platform, and there's high ground and what have you. But again, the same problem as many of these maps so far. All the fighting just gets centralized on the center two platforms. And again, that's okay. There's thrilling engagements here, but you have huge portions of the map that just go completely unutilized. The larger problem with Camino that I have are all these goddamn turrets everywhere. The AI will always prioritize going to a turret or a vehicle in most cases, which can be really frustrating because they just kind of ignore you and beeline straight for the turret, which does not make for an engaging fight. For heroes on this one, you have Jango Fett for the CIS and Obi-Wan for the clones. The Rebellion gets Han Solo and Boba Fett. These are all pretty good selections. This is a pretty good collection of heroes to have to pick from, so there's no real complaints there. But again, man, there's just, again, these huge portions of the map that are just completely unutilized. I mean, look at me here as Obi-Wan, just standing in an empty room, capturing a command post with no pushback whatsoever.
Peruska?
Cut, let's try it again.
Hey, take a guess as to what my problem with this map is. Spoiler alert, all the fighting is localized in one location, leaving the rest of the map completely underutilized. In this case, it's a little more forgivable with Coruscant because at least it's a big space and there's a lot of room for a lot of different classes to play around and ultimately be effective, which is something I can't really say for Camino and Yavin 4 and some of the other ones. There's usually just one class that goes crazy, whether it be the engineer or the marksman. In this case, really anyone can do well, which is kind of impressive. The environments here are pretty and varied, but again, they're hardly ever seen or utilized because of the main hall. For heroes, you have Darth Maul with the CIS, the clones get Mace Windu, the Rebellion gets Luke Skywalker, and the Empire gets the Emperor. Again, a pretty solid collection of heroes here, but again, it's just... So many of these maps just have the same problem. Every single fight is in one area, which leaves the rest of the map to feel pointless and underutilized, and no fun at all to capture those objectives.
That's just a stupid boulder!
It's not just a boulder! It's a rock!
Hey, look, another map where all the fighting happens in one area. You're defending this objective, and it's kind of neat to have a ton of soldiers just flooding through this one area. But the problem here is that, again, once the fighting's over here and one team manages to push through, it just moves on to the next choke point. There's also a completely pointless outside portion with tanks that I don't even have footage of because it has absolutely zero bearing on the outcome of the match. That being said, I do admire Polis Massa. I think it's kind of an interesting map, and there's a lot of variation for an environment that we maybe only see for like 5 minutes in the film. So that's neat. It's, again, just kind of a shame that you never get to see much of the environment because, again, all the fighting is centralized in one room. For the heroes, for the CIS, you have Darth Maul and the clones get Yoda. The Rebellion has Princess Leia, and the Empire has the Emperor. Again, really solid collection of heroes here. Not much to complain about there. But again, man, for such a varied and interesting environment, it's just a shame we don't see most of it.
Hey, why can't they call me the adorable snowman or the agreeable snowman, for crying out loud? I'm a nice guy. Snow cone? No, don't worry. It's lemon.
So from this point onwards, I think I could safely classify the rest of the maps as just being good. Everything before this was bad or just kind of uninteresting to play on, and mostly just came down to vibes and how I felt about the environment. But from this point forward, it's a lot easier for me to say what I like and don't like about these maps. Hoth is a really kind of fun one. For starters, the hunt mode uses an entirely new portion of the map. By the way, this portion is accessible from the regular versions of the game as well, but there's no reason to go over there. There's no objectives and there's no characters over there, so again, there's no reason to go over there. But the hunt mode is fun. You get to play as Wampas versus Rebels. You get the full Rebel roster versus one Wampa type, and the Wampas are really overpowered, which is totally fine though. As far as the main map itself goes, it's kind of just an open field. Same problem as Geonosis, really. The interiors might as well not exist, even on Conquest. This isn't an XL exclusive thing. And again, there's vehicles to use here, but again, much like Geonosis, your mileage may vary on them. The AT-AT mobile command centers are kind of neat, again, but much like the ATTE, they're useless if controlled by the AI, but not that useful if controlled by you. There is an exclusive to this map is kind of the neat destroyable command post that belong to the rebels in the shield generator. It's actually a really interesting thing to have. Though, again, your mileage may vary on how useful it is to actually destroy that or even spawn there. For heroes on this one, you have a better selection than Geonosis had. In the Empire, you have Darth Vader, and the Rebellion gets a map exclusive in Pilot Luke. He plays exactly the same as Luke Skywalker on every other map, but he's got a blue lightsaber and a different outfit, so I think that's kind of neat. I really like Hoth. I think there's room for improvements, but I think it's a really big map. There's a whole section that isn't even used except for in one game mode. There's a lot to like about Hoth, but again, it's just kind of an open field, and it's not that engaging to play around in.
All of you are an important part of my life, pal. I'm glad I could be here.
So Kashyyyk is definitely the best XL map, bar none. It's the most interesting environment. It's sort of a fun place to actually do fighting in. It's not just an open field. There's interesting high ground options for the clones and Rebellion. Vehicles actually feel like a threat on this map, whereas in most XL maps you can kind of just ignore them or avoid them. The hunt mode is okay. It's not that great. The problem with the hunt mode is they choose to use the Grievous Bodyguards or the Magna Guards as one of the factions, which is fine. But again, the problem with the AI here is that they really tend to prioritize using the sentry droids when they're standing out in the middle of nowhere. For heroes on this one, the CIS gets Jango Fett and the clones get Yoda. The Rebellion gets Chewbacca and the Empire gets Boba Fett. Pretty good selection, Chewbacca being the only weak link here. But it's a fun map, kind of varied environments. Most of the fighting does get centralized to one area, but there's a lot of different terrain and vehicle options for that one area, which puts it well above all of the other maps where I've complained about that.
Charge! Die, you rusted scraps! Die, you rusted scraps!
Here's a map I didn't think I'd end up ranking this high, Utapau. Overall, just a fun map to play on. I don't have a ton to say about it. Varied environments, there's multiple areas to find battles. Vehicles are fun to use, if a little scarce on some parts of the map. Good hero selection, General Grievous for the CIS, clones get Obi-Wan, the Rebellion gets Han Solo, and the Empire gets Boba Fett. Really not much to say about this map, I just really enjoy it. Again, varied environments, lots of places to find fights. Not much negative to say about this one.
Some national ethnicities don't play nice with others, and things have turned into a bit of a race kerfuffle.
I'm just going to preface this by saying that Mos Eisley Assault carries this map hard. There's tons of space to play around in, but again, a lot of the fighting gets localized to outside the cantina, at least this time in different areas, either outside the cantina next to Jabba's sail barge, or outside the cantina in this kind of one alleyway, I suppose you could call it. There's kind of a neat third-party element in the Jawas running around fixing up turrets, so that's kind of neat. You get some decent hero options all around here. More or less a repeat of the last map, but the only difference being Darth Maul for the CIS, the clones get Obi-Wan, the Rebellion gets Han Solo, and the Empire gets Boba Fett. That guy is making a killing with how much work he's working for the Empire. This map also probably features the best hunt mode. I had no idea that there was a race war between the Tusken Raiders and the Jawas, but I guess there's bad blood there. Who knew? And again, Mos Eisley Assault just carries this map so hard.
My home, slimy. My home this is.
Now at this point in the video, I imagine you're saying, Dominic, why the hell is the dirty swamp planet so highly rated? That's a great question. I'm serious. Why did I rank this one so high? I wish I could explain to you why I like this map as much as I do, but I just kind of do. It's kind of a conundrum to me. It has a lot of the same problems that other maps that I dislike have. All the fighting gets concentrated on the X-Wing link. The heroes are fun, but not that interesting. It's everyone you'd expect. The clones and Rebellion both get Yoda, the CIS gets General Grievous, and the Empire gets Darth Vader. It's visually uninteresting. The draw distance makes the map look ugly. The map in general just looks ugly. I wish I had a satisfying answer for you, but I genuinely don't know why I like this map as much as I do. Every time I play it, I have a lot of fun. And I don't know why.
Please, it's Christmas. It's December 10th. Oh!
Alright, from this point on, we're into the maps that are just my favorites, and ranking them becomes kind of arbitrary. Any one of these could be number 1 or number 6. They're all a lot of fun to play. I just had to put my Guido at the lowest because as an environment, I don't know if it's that interesting. But that being said, the map is really quite good. The fighting can get concentrated, but there's cover, high ground, there's sniper positions. There's a lot of variation that you don't see in other maps where that sort of concentration happens. That being said, the vehicles also feel suitably deadly, which is not something that happens in most maps with vehicles, as we've discussed. And even when just playing on Conquest, it does feel like a massive battle. All the pieces of the Battlefront sandbox kind of come into play here. The classes all feel viable. The vehicles are threatening and really fun to use. The turrets are not a nuisance to use or fight against. Everything about this map comes together really well here. The command posts are placed in interesting areas that make you want to actually take them. The only thing that's a little bit lacking on this map is the hero selection, and even then, it's still pretty damn good. The CIS gets General Grievous, and the clones get Ki-Adi-Mundi, who is a map-specific character. The Rebellion gets Luke Skywalker, and the Empire gets Boba Fett. Pretty good selection overall, but Ki-Adi-Mundi's not my favorite. But yeah, I can't say enough good stuff about this map. And again, I'm really impressed with the developers for putting a lot of detail and making one of my favorite maps out of an environment we see for all of 10 seconds in the film. I think that's really impressive.
Not like here. Here everything is soft and smooth.
So for starters, I think the hunt mode on this map should probably be renamed to Genocide. It's just an absolute slaughter. I thought I had an easy time killing the Ewoks on Endor, but holy crap, these Gungans are a joke. In any event, Naboo's also a really solid map to play around in for a lot of the same reasons Megiddo is a really solid map to play around in. Again, the fighting does have a tendency to get concentrated in one area, but if it's gonna happen, I'm glad it's on maps like this in Megiddo, where there's high ground, sniper positions, vehicles can come into play and feel suitably deadly. The only downside of this one is, and it felt like less so of a case in Megiddo, is that many of the command posts feel useless. I didn't feel that way when playing Megiddo. The thing that really saves Naboo for me is you have more varied game mode types. You do have a hunt mode, which puts it above, and you also have probably my favorite selection of heroes from any map in the game. For the CIS, you have Darth Maul, clones have Obi-Wan Kenobi, Rebellion has Princess Leia, and the Empire has the Emperor. All of those are some of my favorite heroes to use. I'm really pleased with that selection. I don't think it gets much better than that. And that being said, the environments are varied, which is something Megiddo doesn't have, and a little bit more visually interesting. But yeah, Naboo's just another really, really solid map for, again, many of the same reasons Megiddo's a solid map as well. Not too much to say to the negative here. It's just, again, it's a fun map to play on.
Yaba. I've always wanted to touch him. Like the texture of Yaba is something I need to discover.
Alright, you're gonna see a pattern with these last couple maps, and I'll really drill the point home with my favorite map from the game. But Jabba's Palace is a heck of a fun time to play. The best thing I can say about this map and all the maps hereafter are, as I played, the more I realized that cramped interiors make the battles feel more desperate. When it's just an open field, it's not that interesting to run around and play in, unless the environment is interesting enough, like on Kashyyyk. But my favorite maps are the maps with cramped interiors. They make the fights feel more desperate. They make the AI feel less stupid. It's really fun to play around in these maps. And Jabba's Palace is a solid addition to that collection of maps. A thing I really enjoy about this map are the Gamorrean guards. You can actually see me get bodied by one the second I spawn in as Darth Maul. They're a really fun and kind of hectic conclusion that both sides have to deal with. That being said, you can sort of circumvent them by just avoiding Jabba's Palace chambers. They do show up in other areas of the map, but they're a lot easier to deal with when they're on their own. I do enjoy the inclusion of the Rancor pit as part of the map, but it will never see combat. Enemy AI will never fall down there, and there's no reason to go down there other than to see the Rancor, which can kill you, by the way. For heroes, you have a kind of silly collection of heroes. For the CIS, you have Darth Maul. The Rebellion gets Luke Skywalker. The Empire gets Boba Fett, which makes sense. And then the clones get Ayla Secura, which I have to assume is a reference to the Twilight girl who gets eaten by the Rancor, which is delightful, but it's also kind of silly as well. But yeah, there's a lot to love about this map. Again, and as I learned the more I played, cramped interiors were the way to go.
Who in the hell mines lava? And for what?
So this map was always a favorite of mine, even when I was a little kid playing this game, and I think for good reason. The fighting can happen pretty much anywhere on the map, which is, I think, a first so far. Most fights are centralized, but not so on this map. Never once did I go into an area and feel like I was in a dead area. Fighting can happen everywhere, which is a really important thing to do. Again, there's a lot of cramped interiors, as mentioned, is a positive, but even outside of that, there's a lot of varied environments in general on this map. There's open areas, there's cramped hallways, there's some verticality to some areas as well, which is a really rewarding environment to play around in. It's overall just a really well-designed map. Also, there's this really nice destroyable bridge control that you can use to cut off access to a command post, so they have to go all the way around. Really, really fun, and like something strategic that you don't really see very often in these maps. For heroes on this one, you have a really, really fun selection. The CIS gets Darth Maul, the clones and the Rebellion get Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the Empire gets Anakin Skywalker. Skywalker, who is a map-specific hero. It's a shame Anakin's not that fun to play. He's okay, but Obi-Wan and Darth Maul more than make up for it. It's a fun environment. It's a visually kind of interesting environment. And again, it's just a well-designed map in general.
Commander, tear this ship apart until you found those plans and bring me the passengers. I want them alive!
So if you haven't realized by now, small maps are my favorites. Cramped interiors is always a positive, and this map has it in spades. The problem that I've mentioned before continues to exist here. Fighting can get localized near the bridge or the engine room, depending on which side you start on and push to, which kind of holds it back from being number one. Since there are cramped environments, one of the positives about this map is it can actually make heroes really fun to play around in. A lot of times on the more open maps, they can kind of be uninteresting to play in because you just kind of die pretty quickly, even if you're blocking and kind of using your powers intelligently. But not so on these maps. For heroes, the CIS get General Grievous and the clones get Yoda. The Rebellion gets Princess Leia, and the Empire gets Darth Vader. All pretty solid selections. Darth Vader's kind of a weak link here for me. But they're all fun. And again, since the environment is cramped, you can really kind of go hog wild with these heroes, which kind of makes for a rewarding experience. Any map that can make the heroes feel suitably powerful is a good map to play around in. The Tantive 4 is no exception to that.
You rank people by how hot they are? You got it. Number 2.
Dean Pelton.
Yes, Professor 7, Slater.
Alright, before we get to number 1, I thought I'd do a lightning round ranking of all the heroes. We're going to go through this pretty quickly, so try to keep up. In last place, 17th place, we have Chewbacca. His kit's not that interesting. He's not a very interesting character to begin with. He's not fun to play. His weapons suck. No fun at all. Number 16 is Count Dooku, only available on one map in Mos Eisley Assault. His kit is also not that interesting. He's kind of just the Emperor with a worse attack animation. Number 15, we have Darth Vader. Again, kit isn't that interesting, not that fun attack animations. His dash move is no fun at all and can only maybe get one person. For being the Dark Lord of the Sith, he's really not that fun to play around with. Number 14 is Aayla Secura. I don't care for her animations. I don't care how she attacks. Again, not that fun. I guess it's neat that she has 2 lightsabers, but she's not that fun to play in my opinion. 13 is Anakin Skywalker. He's got a fun charge move. It's basically just Obi-Wan's charge move, but he has less interesting standing attacks. Again, not that fun to play, only available on one map. In 12th place is Mace Windu. He's got a different stance, which is neat. I like his jumping attack move where he stabs into the ground. There's a big shockwave. That's kind of neat. But again, not that interesting to play. He's on a ton of maps, and I'm never that excited when it says, do you want to play as Mace Windu? Number 11, Ki-Adi-Mundi. One map specific. I'm not a fan of his charge attack. His default attack animation is fine. His jump attack animation is fine. He's just kind of fine. In 10th place, we have the Emperor. From this point onwards, it's characters I like playing as, and the Emperor's up there. He can spam lightning, and I think his attack animation is more interesting than Count Dooku. I understand he's not that different from Count Dooku, but he's available on more maps, and I think his default lightsaber animation is better and is capable of hitting more enemies. Number 9 is Luke Skywalker. Really solid character to play as, really fun, well designed, nothing really negative to say about him. In 8th place, we have Princess Leia. I like her gun, I like her running speed, I like her right click ability. She's just fun to play, and her gun is a large part of that. It's a really satisfying and rewarding sniper rifle to use. In 7th place, we have Boba Fett. Jetpack's good, wrist rockets are good, jetpacks are good, flamethrower is good, 3-round burst is good. He's just good. And he should be, because he's featured as the Empire hero for most Empire maps, so he better fucking be fun to play. In 6th place, we have Jango Fett. Sorry, Boba, but I like your dad more than you. I like his gun better. His kit's not that different. He also has jetpack, or I think he has time bombs actually, not jetpacks. Ooh. Wrist rockets are good. His pistol's good. His flamethrower's good. He's just good to play. Jetpack's good. He's more fun Boba. In 5th place we have Yoda. Yoda has a really fun combination of force pull into left click. Really fun combination to use on regular enemies and even in Mos Eisley assaults. One of my surprisingly one of my favorites to play. I did not think that was going to be the case. In 4th place we have Obi-Wan, reliable all around, good attack animations, good charging animation, good force abilities, and lightsaber throw. Again, just really good, really reliable. Always pleased to see the pop-up of do you want to play as Obi-Wan Kenobi. 3rd place we have Han Solo. 3-round burst is good, det packs are good, fusion cutter is good. These are all good things, and also I just like Han Solo. His voice acting in this game sucks though. I wish they just ripped lines from the movie, but that's fine. 2nd place is General Grievous. Really fun to play, really fun to charge in. I wish he had force abilities, but I get why he doesn't. Yeah, just a lot of fun to play. 1st place is Darth Maul. He's got a lot of reach. He's really fun to play. He's on a lot of maps as well. Yeah, just a really rewarding, fun character to play around in and use. That's my ranking of the heroes. If you don't like it, fight me.
Your mother is so fat that Ben Kenobi said, "That's no moon. That's your mama."
So I think it's time I let you guys in on my dirty little secret. I don't actually like Star Wars that much. There was a time in my life when Star Wars mattered a great deal to me, and I've always explained my relationship to Star Wars as this. It's a lot like a marriage, a broken marriage. There was a time when we loved each other, and we loved each other passionately, but eventually I got older, Star Wars got older, and we realized that what we wanted from each other just wasn't the same anymore, and it was time to move on. There was no final argument, there was no slammed doors. We just fell out of love with each other, and that's okay. With all that being said, I fucking love A New Hope. Dude, that movie is so fucking good, and oh my god, dude, I can quote every single line of dialogue, every single music sting, every single moment. You came in that thing? You're braver than I thought. Nice. And then they just fucking get the hell out. I fucking love it. I love A New Hope so much. It's everything I love about filmmaking. It's risk, it's talent, it's the right group of people at the right time with the right script and the right director and the right actors, and everything just came together perfectly. The right fucking editor, the right fucking musical composer, which, by the way, can we talk about John Williams? If John Williams was born 300 years earlier, he would be talked amongst the greats. Mozart, Beethoven, Chopin, fucking John Williams. He's so good and he's so talented, and he really perfected the art of film scoring so well that no one, Howard Shore notwithstanding, has really even come close to matching his talent and skill for it, and it's an art form that has been lost. No other film score can even come close to anything done by John Williams. He is so talented, so gifted, and George Lucas is a visionary. He's a revolutionary. He is an icon, and people owe him a lot more credit than they give him. He changed cinema. He changed how people looked at filmmaking. He changed how people look at film releases. I love A New Hope so much. And I think that's the only reason why the Death Star is my favorite map in this game. Fights can happen anywhere. That's great. I don't care. The environments are varied. That's great. I don't care. All the classes feel viable. That's great. I don't care. There's a really great selection of heroes. That's awesome. I don't care. I love A New Hope. And when I play on the Death Star map, the only thing it makes me want to do is watch A New Hope. And really, if that's not what a Star Wars video game is intended to do, then I don't know what is.